At the heart of the Playtime Co laboratory, a commercial tape for the Wrong Side Outimals plays, marking the beginning of a brutal fight for survival. This area is no longer a manufacturing plant, but acts as a veritable dissection facility. Experiment 1006, the prototype is tearing apart the invertimuses, the mutated and rejected failures of the company. Every mechanical part is turned inside out, ripped apart, and reconstructed into an instrument of slaughter under the control of a manipulative mastermind. The journey down to the bottom of the labs begins, entirely focused on gathering information and finding a way to destroy this entity. The moment you step foot into the lab's testing area, the chase immediately breaks out. Huggy Wuggy returns, bearing the heavy scars from his previous desperate struggles for survival. This creature constantly forces his prey to run through tight corridors and narrow ventilation systems. At the end of this pursuit, the only escape route is an elevator shaft. When cornered against the wall, the Omni-Hand is pulled out to scan the lock code on the door, but this attempt fails. From the shadows, Huggy lunges forward and violently snatches the Grab Pack 2.0 away. The elevator cable snaps and free falls to the ground below, severing all means of defense. When consciousness returns, the lone survivor realizes they are lying in the middle of the recycling and reclamation area. With no weapons left, movement relies entirely on stealth and hiding to avoid the prowling Outimals lurking in the dark. The very first item collected in this area is the Globy, a star-shaped toy that emits a luminescent glow. This light reveals desperate messages and instructions scratched into the metal walls. Just as an Outimal lunges in for a lethal attack, a mechanical creature resembling a patchwork table named Giblet intervenes and saves the survivor's life. Giblet speaks out, calling his prey by the chilling moniker of the Playtime Butcher, unlocking a mystery about a true identity that has never been answered. The prototype begins moving through the area, forcing Giblet to lead the way through the ventilation system to a safe hideout. Giblet shares information about an old, discarded grab pack located in the boilers. Entering the boiler room, the mechanical remains of the dinosaur toy Bron are being torn apart and eaten by a pack of starving Outimals. The grab pack is wedged deep inside Bron's mouth, requiring a terrifying maneuver of reaching into the monster's jaws to retrieve the survival tool. After unlocking a locker with a passcode, the pressurized hand is also obtained. As the journey continues, a giant red creature named Chum Chompkins suddenly grabs the prey. Chum harbors a twisted ideology, believing that swallowing everything into his stomach is the highest form of showing love. The objective now is to gather research notes about the prototype and the Emu Cuff's locking device. The recovered data confirms that Experiment 1006 is merely a crude draft, while Poppy, Experiment 1007, is the perfected version. The weakness of 1006 lies in a negation formula currently backed up at the IT data center. As the prototype draws near, Chum stuffs the survivor inside his mouth to hide them from detection. Once the danger passes, Chum spits the prey back out and gives them a gentle head pat before walking away. Heading into the reanimation sector, the path is blocked by a thick layer of substance called Poppy Gel. By using the newly acquired conductive hand, an electrical current is activated to incinerate these disgusting obstacles, opening the way to infiltrate the neural mapping machine. This area was used to brainwash orphans and transfer their consciousness into toy shells. To open the next door, the memory fragments of Experiment 1170, Huggy Wuggy, must be collected. The recorded past displays Huggy waking up and being tortured with electricity, forced to cast away his humanity to become the facility's security tool. Amidst that brainwashing process, the appearance of Kissy Missy is the only factor keeping a shred of consciousness alive for Huggy. As soon as the decryption finishes, Huggy Wuggy ambushes for a second time. The chase runs through the conditioning rooms and only stops when holographic projectors of Kissy Missy are activated. The image of Kissy throws Huggy into a dazed trance, unlocking the door that leads to Sweet Street. This is an area simulating a natural environment with grass and artificial clouds hanging from the ceiling, built to observe the psychological degradation of creatures when held in captivity. At Sweet Street, Lily Lovebraids emerges and forces the survivor to step into her giant dollhouse to prepare for a tea party. While moving down to the basement to find crumpets, a horrifying truth is revealed as Poppy and Kissy Missy are tightly bound by braided ropes. Poppy apologizes for everything that has happened and begs for a way to be freed. Inside Lily's locked room, the skeleton of Dr. Gracie Green, the woman who once spearheaded the brainwashing programs, is displayed as a trophy of vengeance. After completing the tasks and untying Poppy and Kissy, Lily captures everyone and drags them back to the tea party table. She announces the arrival of a special guest. Right at that moment, the prototype steps out, bringing the first direct face-to-face confrontation. Poppy confronts 1006 about sending the orphans to a better place and screams at him, calling him a monster. The prototype smacks Poppy to the ground, damaging her face, and then threatens to turn the survivor wrong side out. When Lily tries to grab Poppy again, the prototype swats her away, accidentally snapping the ropes restraining Kissy Missy. Kissy immediately charges in to attack the prototype, creating a window of opportunity for the survivor to escape to the attic, reaching all the way to the dome roof of Sweet Street. Lily frantically chases right behind. Jumping across the artificial cloud suspended in mid-air, the pressurized hand is used to shoot and snap the steel cables hanging from the ceiling. The massive cloud collapses, crushing Lily Lovebraids to death right on the ground below. Reunited with Giblet, Poppy and Kissy, the next goal is to reach the tramway station to head toward the data center. The journey requires overcoming numerous obstacles while the prototype constantly stalks from behind. Upon reaching the tram station area, Huggy Wuggy launches one final ambush. Kissy Missy is already waiting there and actively steps in to intervene. Kissy's touch successfully calms Huggy's agitation, reconnecting the fragile thread of humanity between the two creatures. However, the prototype suddenly fires steel blades from the shadows, piercing and pinning the giant bodies of both Huggy and Kissy to the wall. The two icons of Playtime Co are obliterated in an instant. Leaving no time to process, the prototype forces the survivor onto the tracks, compelling them to jump onto the departing tram heading for the data center. In a desperate bid to shake off the prototype's pursuit, Giblet hacks the control system and forces the tram to crash straight into a cliff face. The collision creates a massive explosion, but the prototype still stands tall thanks to his regenerative abilities. 1006 unleashes an attack, throwing the survivor straight into a vat of Poppy gel. The prototype then grabs Poppy and leaves. While submerged under the thick fluid, a hallucination echoes in the subconscious, with Poppy's voice saying that if you come back years later, with your conscience finally getting the better of you, may you descend into the dark and the dust, welcome home. A moment later, a message appears saying we still need you, get up. Giblet uses his cane to deliver a shock, restoring consciousness to the survivor. The grim update is delivered as Poppy has been taken, and the only way to save her and destroy the prototype is to retrieve the negation formula backup. When the steel doors of the data center open, the computer system automatically activates. Dr. Harley Sawyer, the doctor, did not actually die, but has backed up his own consciousness into a digital data form. His mocking voice rings out, remarking, "Well now, this is a rather interesting turn of events. The mission to eliminate the prototype is now manipulated by an even more dangerous enemy." Playtime Co has lost all of its former icons following the tragic sacrifice of Huggy and Kissy. Closing out a harrowing journey of gathering data and surviving, the prototype still holds absolute dominance. However, the emergence of Harley Sawyer within the data system has completely shifted the landscape of this war. The negation formulas and the final backups will be the key to deciding the fate of the factory in the direct confrontation awaiting in the next chapter.